It is Thursday morning and I'm down on the all year round Calving unit. We've been extremely busy this week. It's been one of those weeks where we've been getting up at 3:30 in the morning and we've been going right the way through to about 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. There's been no stopping. Well, we've been stopping for breakfast and dinner, but no sleeping or anything. It's literally been like a half-hour stop each time. Just one of those weeks when you just gotta get your stuff done, get the week out of the way, and then look out in the future and know you'll get a rest at some point through there. As long as I keep busy, I'm alright. I don't actually feel tired. It's like now, see, everybody's dropping around me, like my family and whatnot, with germs and bugs and illness, but I seem to be dodging it at the moment. So I'm just waiting for one of those mornings when I woke up feeling a little bit rough. But so far so good. Hopefully if I keep occupied, keep focused on the farm, I should push through, dodge through it. Been doing a lot of shopping lately. Truck is absolutely filthy. I think the last video I showed you of it nice and clean. I live around a lot of lanes. You've got to drive around lanes to get anywhere. Everything gets shitted out this time of year. Bloody beautiful. Some gates here. We're going to put on the lagoon here. We've been doing a bit of fencing around the lagoon. Now the fence was getting a little bit shot around our lagoon, and especially when we took the sand out back in the summer. There's a video on that down my line somewhere. We scrubbed the fence out of the way, and now this is our new one. Our local contractor come in, done a hell of a good job. 4 strands of barbed wire, and then we got another fence behind that, so nothing's gone through here. Really nice tidy job it is, really chuffed with it, and we got more space this time between the lagoon and the fence. Our last fence was like here, so we only had enough like to do like a 6-point turn if you wanted to get the stir into the pit really hard. The lagoon is actually filling up fast. This moistury, horrible, wet, shitty weather is filled that lagoon up quick. But we'll have some hope around the corner. We'll have some like false hope anyway, where we'll have like a nice bit of spring, summery weather before long. The cows up on the spring unit are in day and night. It's just too bloody wet. We had one dry day and we let them out, and they made a bloody good mess in the gateway. They didn't actually like it out there. They ran out like they usually do and had a good laugh for about an hour, and then he started standing around the gates. I reckon it's due to the silage is better quality this year in the silage camp. Well, ain't very often. Usually we go for bulkage up there, not quality, because like they're spring calving and when they're dry most of the time you're on the silage. So I think it's better this year. The cow, we're up on milk anyway, so I think it's that, but every year is different, who knows. So these gates here, 2 15-foot field gates. I've got all the gear and just wait for Tobes to come around that corner after feeding the dry cows, and he's going to give me a hand to put them up. I've got all the tools and whatnot, so we get that hung up, get that done, and that job is sorted out the way. It's this lovely weather for repairs. It makes you feel better, I reckon, when you get a few repairs or something new around the farm. I bought a load of Yorkshire boarding for the barns up on the spring unit, like a few of the barns, because every year, especially this time of year, I look to see something new about. Like not necessarily a machine or anything, there's a few new gates, a bit of boarding on the side of the shed or anything, just to make it look a bit better. We try to do a little bit of improvements each time, not too much, because we don't want to spend too much money. These cows here all seem to be tracking on alright, feeding Octobery silage, trying to mix it in. You've got to get out of the way to get in behind it to feed the cows. So it is, you know, slowing them up a bit. This is a bit of it, see, it's got this sort of stuff in it. That's the October stuff. It has got leaves and all sorts of shit in it. So it's not ideal, but it hasn't dropped the milk and they seem to eat most of it. But we are sweeping more out now. We run a yard scraper down through here, like not today and probably not tomorrow, because it's looking quite fresh. And so when they leave a bit and start steaming, we'll sweep the whole lot away, and we just sweep it all to here. And this is what Charlie shifted the other day. Before we had our farm insurance, all these heaps here and here. So this yard here is nice and clear now. What we want. Keep it all bundled up, all this muck now. Keep like pushing it up, get stirred out, because it's not long before we like snow dump it onto the fields and plough it in. So that weather will come around the corner and it'll turn on a sixpence, it will. It'll just like all of a sudden turn, and then off we go, off we trot. But we've got a bit of hay mixed in with it, string out. The silage is just getting a little bit tight. This is what I do most of the time when I walk around the cows. I walk up through this feed barrier and pick up bits of plastic. On side sheet, what's gone in the wagon. Touch wood, mass tires is good at the moment. No, I said that, I've got to go through the roof. The spring unit, we've got a few swollen quarters up there, but no clots. Don't often get clots, it's swollen quarters, and it's to do a bloody deep litter sheds. But it doesn't matter how well you straw them up, clean them out, whatever, you're going to get a bit of that. Especially in this Germany weather. You want a bit of wind, really, a bit of breeze, if you can have weather like this. But it's been relatively still this year. So, but March should bring stormy weather, won't it? So, no. There, look at this. I've got a pump on the front of there. I think I've already shown you that. Got a teat feeder. We've got so many calves got them outside now. So we've got a bit of a roof there in case you get wet. Just bells down the side there. In the corner of the yard. Like corner of our yard where we put all our like rubbish and whatnot. They do ever so well though, these calves outside. As long as you give them hot milk, nice warm milk. The old one's got a jacket on, but we don't really need them on. It's fresh, but they got cake, they got water, they got a place out of the rain. As long as you keep them on fresh bedding every day, you got to put a lot of effort in. You got to put a lot of like bedding down all the time. So when you get days and days of rain, sometimes you've got to bed them down twice a day, and you've got to keep cleaning them out. But they do very well outside, as long as they got, we put these bells here not just for a wall because we're short on gates, but also it keeps the wind out. So you've got fresh air going across the top, and then yeah, fresh air over the top, but they got no draft. We're spot on. So this is the oldest bunch, like the earliest bunch we had. So these are a little bit bigger than the rest. But we're going to start making a few more pens like this because we're overrun with calves and we can't put them out in the field at the moment because this is going to be too wet for the teat feeder to go on out. It's going to be a nightmare getting in and out of the field in this wet weather. So this is ideal. Yeah, just got to keep plenty of straw down and whatnot. And they do well. Nice warm milk. And you've got to keep looking around them, make sure no virus ammonia and that. Keep the milk going into them. Look at that. Nice and strong, nice and healthy. Waggy tails, that's what we like. We're about time on the spring calving herd when we've got two big groups. We've got like 150 milking cows and we still got like 150 dry cows, and it's not ideal on this farm with these buildings because it's not really suited for the job. So that's why the cows are in day and night too, because it's just raining and wet. We've had cows out day and night, but now they're in day and night. The next time we get a bit of decent weather, we'll start spur tracking and we'll put them out of grass because there's a nice bit of grass on. And not in a mad rush at the moment because we've got all of March and not much grows in March. Might be warm, who knows, but quite often you get stormy, horrible, shitty weather. So I just go on the basis of that. If it comes out hot and sunny, then fair play, we'll work them out, and then Bob's your teapot will have a good run. But we've got a nice bit of grass out there to go all through March, so grazing's not the end of the world at the moment. But we are short on space on calves because we rear every single calf that's born. We can't sell nothing for 8 weeks, and we're also shut down with TB, so it's going to be a job to shift them. We've got plenty of ground because we're organic, so we've got a good handy 1,000 acres. We've got 500 acres grazing, and then we've got 500 acres off block where we can put young stock and cut grass. So we've got plenty of ground for rearing cattle, but at the moment we just got to home them all in around the buildings and just make makeshift pens like this. It's such a short period of time, it feels like forever at the moment, but within a couple of weeks these will be out in ground in groups of 50 and we'll be well away. But for now we just got to keep them really bedded down well and keep nice warm milk going into them, and they'll do well. The main thing is you've got happy, healthy, fit calves. See, they're not that old, these calves, and they're just full of meat because that's what you want. Just want nice and strong in that. They've been dehorned, so we don't want to put them out in the field like just after they've been dehorned because that's a lot of stress for them. As soon as they go out, they'll go down to once a day, probably 5 or 6 litres a day in the morning, and then they'll just have grass and cake. What we'll have on trailers, we'll have cake trailers. I'll show you them when we get them out. Alright, so that's all the calves fed. There's a few things you've got to keep an eye on. See, like now we're filling up on calves, so just banging in pens all over the place. This pen here, calves are nice and healthy, but we had a windbreak straw bale there for them to have a bit of shelter, and someone's dug into that and started strawing down the calves. So what we've got to do is we've either got to put a bell there or another bell, or block this up, because they've got to have windbreak. It's got to be sealed all the way around, but plenty of overhead air. So like those sleepers there, that's spot on. You've got air coming through that Yorkshire boarding, but this has got to be blocked up here. These have got to be sealed panels because the wind's going to come straight in out of the shed there, and give them draft. Same with these. See, like when we made a pen start, we put this windbreak here. So, and it's not that high because you don't want it too high. You just want it a little bit higher in the calf. See that calf stood there? So the wind can come in from the shed, breeze around up here and remove any stale air. But down below, when it's sat down or stood up, they don't want a breeze. They don't want draft. And these calves get draft, so that's got to be blocked up, or we've got to put a bell, like a bell there temporary, because otherwise they will get ammonia and then it is spread through the whole lot. It's bad enough already with all these calves in there. You could have an outbreak germ, like 1 or 2. You got a bag. Like I'm not going to get away. All these calves are healthy. I've got like 100 calves in there, and every single one of them's fit as a fiddle. They're all jumping. They've all just been fed, see, and they're all jumping about. Some are sat down and whatnot. But you will definitely have some what will need attention, what will need a jab, because they get a little bit of ammonia or they're feeling down, or they get the crypto or something like that. 1 or 2 have had the shit so far, and we've had to bag them straight away. And like I said before, they've got to have 8 litres of water if they're severely dehydrated. So if they can get up and they're wobbly, give them 8 litres. If they're sat down and they won't get up, you're pretty much screwed. You might save the odd one, and so, like, you know, you're getting better, some of them. So a lot of them you won't. 1 or 2 of them will get better, but they will come back to haunt you later on in their life. Like they'll be the ones, the bony heifers what calve in, or just the ones what just don't do well. So you want to try to avoid that situation. It's easier said than done. It's extremely hard. It takes you years and years of experience. You nearly need to fail at it before you can succeed. So I'm not like sounding like I'm some sort of pro, because I've had plenty of problems with calves before, and every year is different. This year is pretty good. Last year was pretty good. We've had pandemics before, and I've lost like 80 heifer calves. So, like, you know, I've been through it all. But 8 litres, so you do them before breakfast, you do them again after breakfast, 2 litres each time. 2 litres before breakfast, 2 litres after breakfast, 2 litres after lunch, and then 2 litres about 5-6 o'clock at night, or whatever your like routine is. But make sure you get 2 litres each time, 8 litres total within that time period, and they will get better. Give them electrolytes and put some penicillin in their milk, but only give them 1 litre of milk in for energy. They've got to have 1 litre for energy, but the milk does feed the germline. There you go, see there's one there drinking water. Fresh water twice a day. You tip the water out and you put a new lot in. Friday afternoon, 2 o'clock, and we are still pumping the calves out. We're going to be wrapped up at this. We carry on like this, but we won't. It'll slow up. And I expect the last 50 or 60 will drag all the way to April. One here. Just calved. Nice heifer that. Drop that one out. Angsty looking thing. Another one here, gonna calve in the night, I reckon. Heifer. Cow here, gonna calve. So we're gonna whittle them down. It's the first time I think I've ever said we could do with it slowing up, because we want a few to calve in March, because we want the milk to drag on through the summer, because we get penalised seasonality, well, from now really, a little bit, all the way to June, and then July onwards the seasonality goes up. So it's not the end of the world, because it's still cheaper to produce milk from grass this time of year. So like the seasonality don't make a great difference, but I just looking across the shed whilst I'm talking, and there's another one getting ready to go. So it's all the dry cows here, just in 2 sheds now. I expect there's a good 30 in there. A few round of feed trailers here, noshing away. More in this little bit of yard area. We've got some double gates here separating the herds. I've got them all eating down like a barrier we've made of racks and whatnot, a bit of straw and whatnot, help them out. This is the other shed. We've got one, yeah, towing, yeah, over there in the corner. So yeah, like I said, like, yeah, if we have a few, like, we want a few to calve in March, because then it'll drag the milk, like, keep the milk going. But we want to keep the block tight. I say probably, if we got a decent amount of cows in milk, we call it a day. Going into like the first week of April, we'll sort of cut the cord, and anything what's not calved and is still in calve will go down to all year round calving unit. If the TB status don't change, we're both on the same, both farms are on the same TB status at the moment, but if it changes, it might be a bit of a job on. But no, so far so good. It's been extremely busy. Not too many problems, a few hard calvings and that, but no twisted up calves or whatnot yet. But that's March, that happened in March. So no, gone well. And we've got some nice dryish weather this afternoon, or some overnight. So they're really settled, those cows. But I think we're gonna have a big night tonight. What's gonna be hard because I've got to go out tonight. So tomorrow morning's gonna be horrible. Alright, go and see how Emma's getting on milking. Tim's out shifting the fence because we've got the cows out on the fence, and we're back fencing now, so they don't tread on what they've been on. There's Emma here, got the units on. Now you saw milking quite well at the moment. Milk's going up now, there's one giving 8.5. 6.5. 4.5. 12.8. So they're moving up. There's 5 kilos of cake. We started them off on 4, but we pushed them up another kilo. One here, what's been calved one day. Milking cows here. These have been milked on straight in the shed and sat down. Self-feed silage over there, so they're all on self-feed, and they've got racks around the corner where the other sheds are. This is one shed, but they seem to like this shed. As you can see, they're all pretty jam-packed in. Freshly calved heifer here. So dealer sheds are not ideal, they're alright, but you're more sceptical to germs, definitely. That's why we like getting them out day and night as quickly as possible, but it's just too wet at night and too cold. You can go out by day and they're doing a nice job in the day and they've gone out onto nice lay grass, but at night they're staying in for now till we get some decent temperatures at night. Now, one good thing about this is when we start milking tomorrow morning, we literally just walk in and drive them out, and they walk out anyway. Like down on the other farm, what you've got to do when you get cows around for milking, you've got to drive them out the cubicles, rake the beds and whatnot. But this, you just drive them out and then you just scrape the yard out, what's not much. So it's quite a simple system. The only thing you've got to do is you've got to straw down every day. With sand you do it every 3 days, but then we got a big straw chopper and we put 3 quadrants in it and we just go round strawing down, so it is pretty quick and pretty fast. But you got to make sure you got really good dry straw. If you have a year when the autumn's a little bit dodgy and you got a bit of dodgy straw about you, it's not great for these cows here. So they're on barley. Barley seems to be better for them because it's like wirier and it lasts longer, it don't get dirty as fast. Barley for the milking cows is okay because we clean them out every 2 weeks. Like I said with the calves, stick the wheat straw because barley's a little bit boggier. But this shed, see, has been cleaned out about 6 days now. It's still quite really firm in the bottom. You just got to use we use a lot of straw, and the cows are only in really like 2-3 months at the most. They ride day and night to the 8th of December, and then they come in day and night, and we've used a colossal amount of straw. So if a straw price is dear, that is a factor too. But other than that, it's not too bad. Like when you have if you have a day where it's like misty and horrible and shit, it is pretty shit in these sheds. But on a day like today where you've got a bit of breeze about, it's okay. It's seen it all right. But I choose cubicles every time. But you've got to make do with what you got.